100 feet high waves and 80-mile-an-hour winds heralded the first major storm of the winter for Scotland. Public transport was disrupted and there were power cuts. Our correspondents followed events. We have two reports, the first from Aileen Clark.
30 miles north of the Orkney Islands, a Spanish fishing boat being tossed around the highest of seas. A massive wave smashed a window, soaking the wheelhouse and knocking out the steering. A daunting rescue for the Stromness lifeboat and the Coast Guard, who got her and her crew safely into Westray.
We'll be looking at 25 to 30 metre waves at its worst. Luckily we were going with the swell, the tide and the wind, so that helped us enormously. Otherwise, if we'd been punching into it, it would have been pretty bad.
In the village of Hamnavoe in the west of Shetland, the waves hitting the shoreline were the biggest of the winter so far. Much further south, though, on the mainland, winds have still been battering the Clyde coast, and Coast Guards are warning that people could lose much more than their hat if they get too close.
Because of the storm surges, we're advising people at the moment to stay away from the coast. If they do venture, make sure they're in a safe distance.
All along the west coast today, people have been battling very severe, very strongly gusting winds and the rain and the hail that's come with them. And here in Helensburgh, it's been no exception. Here the sandbags were out, but the outdoor tables and chairs were being stacked away.
My customers, they like to sit outdoors quite a lot, so I keep the tables and chairs out for that purpose.
Not many takers today, though.
No, not at all, no.
A wee bit blustery.
Just a tad.
You didn't even need to be on the coast to feel the force of this storm. Nikki Taylor sent us this picture from the south side of Glasgow, a car completely wrecked by a huge fallen tree. But you wouldn't envy Thomas Clark his trip across the Irish Sea this morning. While he got to sea, most ferries, like here in Oban, spent the day very securely tied up in port. Aileen Clark, reporting Scotland.
Going nowhere, these trains in Fort William remaining in the station, with 24 separate rail services across Scotland cancelled because of the danger of debris blocking lines. Line problems of a different nature in the Western Isles though, when the lights went off in 17,000 homes at 7 this morning. Engineers were able to reconnect most supplies after less than 2 hours.
We were well prepared for it, we had bodies in the right places, and the work they've done this morning has been great.
In Orkney, one of our viewers caught this picture of another lightning strike, and sea states were dramatic in many western coastal areas, including the Outer Hebrides, where marine experts have been measuring the size of the waves.
We're seeing at the moment, at the peak of this storm where these wave buoys are, we're seeing wave heights in the order of 17 metres, which is about 50, 60 feet. So these are big waves.
The bad news for thousands of school pupils in the Highlands and Islands who've had at least one day off is that tomorrow most schools will reopen.
Craig Anderson there. The First Minister has dismissed reports that the Queen favoured the No campaign.